you know, kind of fend for themselves down there. Thresh is very good at evading a lot of the attempts.
Yeah, Wukong might not have the Hextech ultimatum to keep somebody locked in that certain zone with him, but with 2 back-to-back knockups as well as the ability to sort of infiltrate enemy lines with the invisibility from the clone to start things off, that wombo combo potential there with the Galio is absolutely huge. Speaking of some wombo combo potential, you can never ignore the power of the Orianna ultimate in any game that she is in. That'll be the last pick of the draft for CLG, and Pobelter has been the man that has carried this team a lot so far. Generally, whenever CLG has an "oh my god, what just happened" kind of a play, it's Pobelter driving that one all the way down. And I want to see a big shockwave in some of these team fights here coming out from him. Still hard to believe that when you look back at the beginning of this year, it was Pobelter who was not on a team. And now it's Pobelter who's been the hero of CLG ever since the end of spring.
Yeah, I mean, he was in a coaching position of all places with Team Liquid, and brought a lot of that over to CLG when he came to try and, you know, help them rebuild from the terrible spring that they had. It's definitely easy to theory craft what they want to do this time around. You mentioned it. You know, they want to get a Sett delivering a shockwave to group people up for a big Kennen ultimate. It's just those are the ideal theoretical plays that you can try and pull off with this composition. It's going to require good attention to vision to pull that off, because you need multiple flank angles for Sett and for Kennen.
And if they can get that vision set up and keep track of where everybody's at, I also want to see the accuracy from the Bard. That ulti could be so huge in setting things up for some good face breakers come out of the Sett after a binding from Bard as they exit it. Kennen could just be right on top of those golden statues waiting for him to become vulnerable again. Lots of opportunities there as well.
Definitely agree. Excited to see how they play out on the Rift here. One sweeper on each team right now. Contractz is starting it. Of course, there's been a trend, obviously, in high yellow solo queues started with a lot of junglers, not just Graves, taking Ignite or even Cleanse and other summoners. People have started to experiment with non-flash summoners for their jungles. Graves, obviously, super common to take Ignite this time around, and it really does help out with trying to invade and win those early skirmishes, especially versus champions like Sett that can get some problematic regeneration going when he's low.
Right. It completely skews the 1v1 jungle matchup and creates an opportunity for Contractz to control the neutral game much better than he otherwise would be able to. You can see both junglers also rocking the phase rush here. That's also wielded by Pobelter's Orianna there in the mid lane. Summoner Spellbook available for both Ruin and Ryoma. 2 teleports for both sides this time around. Both AD carries have opted into combat summoner spells. No TPs for them. The cleanse on Stixxay, making sure that as this game moves forward, he's ready to respond to arrows and hooks and taunts and all sorts of nasty stuff that's going to be flying after him. As 100 Thieves go for the early invade on the enemy red, they will sweep away the ward that spotted them out. So although CLG will not be able to watch when Contractz take this and where he goes after, they will know exactly where he's at.
Yeah, that's what you're always looking for with the sweeper start with your jungler. And Contractz plays a lot of Graves, by the way. He's very aggressive when he does it. I've seen a lot of his solo queue games, always trying to invade, always trying to use Graves' range advantage to the fullest that he can from the onset of the game. It's not like, you know, people sometimes, I think, a little bit erroneously refer to Graves as this farm for late, just scaling jungler. But especially in a matchup like this versus Sett. Oh my goodness, actually Stixxay, wow. He just takes a beating there, yeah.
Just walked up and played him, easy.
Back to the jungle though, I mean, when you have double phase rush like this, the advantage is heavily in the favor of Graves because he can proc it first and you get to kite the Sett. Wiggily here, heading down to the bottom side first though.
Well, he walks into the tri-brush right as Poome shows up, and that means Wiggily finds himself in a pretty bad spot. Has to flash over that wall to make sure he doesn't get collapsed on by Ryoma. He'll get out safely, but because of Poome's rotation, that means Wiggily does not have the opportunity to go over and steal the red buff back. because he was late getting there, because he went for clearing out his own bottom side first and foremost. And that means there's a massive early advantage here for Contractz, who still has his whole bottom side to clear out and who's now still going back towards the top half of the map to contest up here towards this top lane and towards this top side Scuttle Crab. Wiggily now losing the early trade. Things are not looking too good for the Sett here. Smite already coming down onto the Scuttle Crab. Pobelter going to be grabbing that one, but the fight is breaking out, and the damage goes through. It's first blood for Ryoma, and 100 Thieves made that look very easy.
Flowers. Just F's in the chat for Wiggily here. He just looked like he was a chicken running around with his head cut off at the very beginning of this game. When you get your flash blown in Graves versus Sett matchup with phase rush Graves, you lose all priority in the jungle. I was already trying to talk about how Contractz is going to have this big advantage, ignite Graves, into it. But when there's no flash on the Sett, then you don't have the surprise factor of even being able to go for the all-in with one of your laners and setting it up with CC. So Contractz, as soon as he sees Ryoma blow the flash of Wiggily for free on that invade, he's like, this whole map is mine. He gets sight of Wiggily and just runs him down, no fear. You can get right next to the Sett. He's on the same side as the Scuttle Crab there, so that's why he didn't get stunned. Good little micro from Contractz, and Ryoma does not hesitate. Get right in there with the flash, secure the kill for the jungler, and this should be a Jungle Kingdom game now. With this giant advantage, and there not really being another, you need at least 2 lanes that would be able to push in and help Wiggily regain control of the map, but he just does not have that. The only possibility would be the top lane. If Ruin could get some good harassment down onto Ssumday, try and play off of that. But the problem is, Realma's almost 6 here on Galio too, and he's pushing the mid lane, so it should be Contractz Jungle Kingdom.
Moving in to try to steal yet another camp here. Already level 5 against the level 4 of his opponent. Wiggily going to be the target here at the beginning yet again. Haymaker already coming down. Shield going out. Contractz through that portal. Cody Sun goes back through it and takes the lantern. Just having a little bit of fun. And 100 Thieves, they won't get anything really of great value there. Just the exhaust from the Bard. But that is a summoner spell advantage down there. Will be responded to with the exhaust from Poome. So 1 for 1. But Contractz continue to play aggressive exactly like you were talking about, making sure that he's using this Graves early, not just turning it into a farming simulator and always staying in his opponent's face.
Exactly. Every jungler loves playing games like this. So your eyes just light up. The map is yours. You get to play on your opponent's jungle more so than you have to play on your own. And again, Contractz already coming into this game had the highest counter jungle percentage in the LCS, even though a little bit less games played than Blabber. Still topping that out a little bit. With red buff still on him, he still gets to continue to try and invade, punish Wiggily. Basically, you just want to continually playing offensively to deny even small jungle camps. So even though on the bottom skirmish we saw there, you don't get a big cooldown like another flash or a big extra summoner spell, you can again just chunk out Wiggily, force him back to the fountain, take away one small camp here, one small camp there. Pretty soon, Contractz gets a multi-level lead over him, and that means all the Counter Logic gaming laners have to play safe, and they have to seed a lot of extra farm over to the 100 Thieves laner, so it's a kind of a trickle-down effect where it starts to spread out.
And with the completion of the basic jungle items, turning it into Skirmisher Saber or Stalker's Blade, Contractz gets yet another advantage there in the 1v1. Sett needs Blue Smite to be able to catch up to opponents since he is immobile, but Graves is all too happy to just take that dueling power of the Red Smite, which is kind of like a miniature Ignite and miniature Exhaust put together into one neat little package. And he is so scary in this 1v1 now. Already level 6, collateral damage and Ignite both ready to go. Red Smite as well. If Wiggily runs into him, Wiggily is dead. He knows it, and Contractz is taking this opportunity to invade with Poome at his back here once more, stealing away the blue buff there, and Wiggily will not even try to contest.
Yeah, I mean, Summoner's Rift is 100 Thieves jungle at the moment, because not only does Contractz have Red Smite and Ignite, guess what, Flowers? He's got his third summoner spell, the Galio ultimate.
Oh, baby.
Ryoma from mid lane. And that's actually the most powerful summoner spell in the game, if you didn't know. Ryoma being able to join is going to be the extra kicker. That means there's absolutely no way that the CLG lanes can fend him off. I would say that, trying to talk from CLG's perspective here, Pobelter himself was able to push in 2 of those extra lanes to get some extra CS for himself off of those plays. So yeah, at least they do have Pobelter on Orianna trying to still scale up. And once you get to at least a 1 core item for yourselves and Wigglily's got his flashback, maybe you can try and pull off those theoretical plays that we were talking about in Champ Select, where you have an ideal situation. Smoothie lands a Bard ultimate, then Wiggily and Ruin get into position, and you just get this crazy Orianna shockwave plus Sett ultimate and Kennen ultimate combinations over the opponent team. The problem is 100 Thieves don't have to group up for stuff like that. They can easily play the map with their globals of Galio and Ashe.
Well, we've been talking a lot about the successes of 100 Thieves early, particularly looking at the jungle and how Contractz has sort of been able to have an ideal situation in this matchup, in this game. But when you look at the top of the screen and the scoreboard, you see that the gold is dead even, and you already mentioned Pobelter's CS advantage there in the mid lane. There's a similar advantage in the top side as Ruin is playing Kennen, and generally as Kennen, you're going to have a lane advantage. It's part of your champion unless some really bad stuff happens with a Renekton and some minion aggro. So when you look at these two, they're really keeping this team in an even position as we move towards these fights that could be breaking out here. 1 Drake already in 100 Thieves' pocket, 3.5 minutes until the next one spawns. Maybe CLG wants to fight for that. Maybe they deem it unimportant. A lot of times, if teams aren't feeling it, it's very easy to let the first 2 Drakes go and not really worry until the third one. Contractz is working on this Rift Herald now, though. Wiggily moving forward, thinking about maybe contesting this one. Contractz already igniting him. Ryoma moving forward, and Ssumday has joined the fight as well. Ashe arrow beautifully shot from a long way away, and the Wombo combo does the job.
Oh my goodness, Poome get hit with every ultimate on that side of the map. He gets hit with the Wukong knock-up, into the Ashe arrow, into the Galio ultimate. That is a 1 dead Orianna, my friend.
Everything but the kitchen sink on its way to Pobelterville, USA.
You start pinging enemy ultimates.
Yeah, just go down the scoreboard, ping every single one of them.
Like, that one's on cooldown, this one's on cooldown, that one's on cooldown.
Like, all right, guys, what are we going to do, team? Let's do something here. Unfortunately, there's not really an opportunity to do much of anything there for CLG, so 100 Thieves will just collect that as another little win for themselves. With Shelly in pocket and it only being 10.5 minutes into the game, there should be the chance for 100 Thieves to use this at any point during its duration and still get some plate money for it. You can see all 5 plates still intact here up in the top side. Trying to look at the mini-map and get the status of everything across the other lanes, but Xayah's head is too big and kind of blocking that bottom one for me. Pobelter's been doing a great job keeping that mid lane pushed out like you were talking about, so that's still at 5 as well, and bottom appears to be 5 likewise. So lots and lots of good places for Shelly to headbutt some stuff.
So one of the main goals now for CLG is for Wiggily to try and keep track of Contractz. If he can shadow Contractz, just be on the same side of the map, trying to immune the Shelly ultimate, but looks like the dive is imminent.
Remember, Bard can also stop Shelly's charge, but he won't be able to do anything to save Stixxay as the plates are being worked down here. 100 Thieves doing this for maximum value with that Rift Herald if they decide to use it. As you can see, Wiggily just deciding, okay, I know my opponent's making more happen across the map. I'm going to try to steal some Gromps. He walks up and unfortunately runs into Ssumday, gets bonked on the head with the stick, but then gets to walk away. Ssumday's not looking to turn this into 100-0 anytime soon. They'll put the last little bit of damage into these plates. This should be the ideal time to summon up the Shelly here for Contractz. Just drop that one and take this down. Instead, it looks like he's going to back and save Shelly for a different time. As Ryoma uses the Justice Punch to buff her away.
What the heck is that frog question mark? I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
It's one of my favorite emotes. It's the one that you're like, what? Really?
Where the heck did that come from?
I want to go back
to that dive though, because it was just Stixxay was just so resigned to his death. I was preparing myself I was like, okay, so they have Xayah ultimate, Flash, and Cleanse, plus a Bard ultimate, and Smoothie's kind of hovering behind. So they're going to get him out of this, right? You know, Operation Extract Stixxay from the tower destruction.
Yeah.
But he just kind of resigns himself to the death. They don't use any of those ultimates or summoner spells to try and escape. And I guess that you have them for later, you can say, but where's the point later where you're making your move? Contractz has full control over Dragon, so the next objective take is going to be kind of effortless for 400 Thieves, and they'll continue stacking those Dragons. Just seemed a little bit questionable. 1 minute left, 50 seconds here left on the Herald, and Contractz going to use it mid instead. Looks like they think they could just take off the extra plates on bottom by hand.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that. Is there, so what's the, you're my smart guy here. Nice shot by Poome, as Smoothie lands the Tempered Fate to buy a little bit of extra time, but Pobelter falls. It's Poome taking the kill. He says, look, man, I did the work. I hit the skill shot. It's my money.
I like it.
Support for 100 Thieves gets his reward as that mid lane turret nearly falls.
Yeah, I mean, so I was kind of with you. I thought they were going to just use it on the last two plates. Those ones give the most armor to the turret, and you can use the true damage for Shelly to get that bonus first turret, extra 150 local gold. But Contractz goes for another attempted invade, pops the phase rush and gets right back out. In the end, they did get more value out of using it mid and getting that strong push here and getting most of the plates off this turret as well. And they're still going to get first turret bonus anyway. So I feels like it's a case of the rich just being a little bit more greedy and wanting to get a little bit richer.
Yeah, I can't tell if this is results-based analysis or if they're just too five-head for me, and they're like, oh, no, you think we should use it down here, but this is actually the right play. So I'm not smart enough to solve this case. Instead, I'm going to talk about this fight that's breaking out as Wiggily comes in from behind, looking to slam Ryoma back into the waiting arms of Smoothie and some damage in CC. Ryoma still just walking away. Justice punch back, trying to buy a little bit of extra time here. Taunt barely landing onto Smoothie. And here's another one from Cody Sun. And Smoothie goes down. Well played, 100 Thieves. Cody Sun 2 for 2 here on the Arrows.
100 Thieves been looking pretty good after a couple of their changes. You know, the younger, fresh squad coming in, Contractz and Poome, both making plays, both getting the kills as well for a lot of their plays. See if the last remaining outer tower will probably be the next easy target for them as they can call for the lane swap. Let's see about the Galio timer on the ultimate. Didn't quite see what the last few seconds on it were. Is available, no problem here. So you can go easily invade, get the deep wards down on the bottom side of the map, and the only side 100 Thieves have to worry about is Ssumday.
That was horribly unlucky.
Lay it on me, Flowers. How do you feel when your ult gets negated by a regular ability?
That was really, really unfortunate for Ruin. He thought he had the distance to catch up there with the Proto Belt, but he forgets that after Wukong's update, you get some extra range when you cast the W. He easily gets away, and Ssumday's not even remotely concerned about it. You know how I know Ssumday's a nice guy, Kobe? Because he didn't flash an emote. Well, no. Pretend I've never talked to him. Pretend that I'm just assuming this from in-game information. It's because he didn't flash an emote at that one. Because if that was Niski or Solo or any of our guys who like to throw those up all the time, that was an emote moment right there. But Ssumday, very cool, ever the professional, ever the gentleman, not allowing his...
I like it.
His inner demons to come out there. As Contractz and the rest of 100 Thieves have control over the top side river, Contractz can easily pick up that second Rift Herald of the game, and 16 minutes into this game, just about 17 minutes here, it is still a 100% objective game for 100 Thieves. Their opponents have yet to get anything Turret, Drake, or Rift Herald, and now Ssumday's going in with the engage onto Ruin. Contractz shows up, they get the flash out of the Kennen, Ssumday eats some damage on the way out. But Summoner Spell down means Contractz may be able to pay another visit up here sometime soon.
Yeah, and he's holding on to Rift Herald number 2 as well. Generally, Rift Herald number 2 you want to save for after you win a fight. There's a lot more pressure using Rift Herald #1 with this timing window, 14 minutes. You want to get it down before the turret plates. But Rift Herald #2, you want to get one of those big drives off. And with only 30 seconds left on the Dragon, 100 Thieves could easily set up. You just go recall, buy your control wards, return to the Dragon area first. Try and get your wards down so that Cody Sun can hit him with another arrow, and you get the full wombo combo.
Well, we're talking about Dragons. We got the next one here in 14 seconds. We are looking at an Ocean Soul game, and we're looking at a 100 Thieves team that is using Shelly here in the mid lane. They're going to create a distraction there. They're going to use that chance to walk down towards the bottom side river, set up some vision, potentially start the Drake right now. Ssumday just completed his Trinity Force on his last back before this fight, so he's very ready to get involved here. Does not have the ulti ready to go, but still capable of doing plenty of damage if he jumps into the back line. But Wiggly's putting himself in a spot for a smite steal. Who's going to win out on this one? Smoothie going to be taken rather low here as Wiggily tries to contest here in the middle of the pit, but likely going to be taken down first. Ruin jumps in, Contractz with a secure onto the objective, and CLG has 3 here in the pit. Ruin's going to be the first one to pop in that melee. Contractz grabs the kill onto him. Everybody's still alive except for Poome on the side of 100 Thieves. Ssumday walks up and bonks Stixxay right across the head. It's a 1 for 2 so far. Wiggily and Smoothie are on the run. Oh no, they're going to lead him right to the remaining teammate. As Ryoma walks in, he face checks 3, but he's got so much HP, he's not too worried about it. Taunt down onto 2. Wiggily looking to fight here against Contractz, who has to dash away from the melee range on the Sett. Smoothie taken down there on the very back end of the fight. Wiggily is the last man standing, and he will hobble away from that one with 100 HP. This is practically one of those things that you see in a war movie where they leave one guy alive to tell the story of the battle. Good lord. That was not pretty for CLG.
Yeah, you go back and you tell the rest of Counter Logic Gaming what happened here. Never return to the side of the Dragon. I wanted to point out the desync in the time. The teleport right now is channeling. Ruin just arrived behind the red buff, but there are already 2 members. You see Stixxay and Smoothie running for their lives, almost dead, before the 5th member of CLG actually arrived. So there was a really big miscommunication, desync on the timing for CLG, where they go for the initiation and then start the channel on the teleport for one of the biggest parts of their AoE wombo combo that we keep on trying to talk up as their salvation. If you don't have the Sett plus Orianna plus Kennen there, then all falls apart like this, and in the end it turns into everybody for themselves, scramble, run around, try to escape through the enemy jungle, but 100 Thieves chase them all down. Contractz gets a little bit low, but with the extra phase rush, he's able to get out as well.
Yeah, that went really, really well there for the side of 100 Thieves. And even though Wiggily did have the bad early game that he did, he was the one who did the most damage on either team in that fight. The only one breaking 3,000 damage dealt to champions over the course of the fight, getting plenty of damage off with the haymakers and just being able to beat on Contractz there at the end. But it's still 100 Thieves who have themselves a 6,000 gold lead. They're pushing one of those tier 2 turrets, trying to get even more of that objective gold here in their pockets. Nothing on the scoreboard for CLG, barring that 1 kill onto Poome in the last team fight. They're trying to find their way back into this one, Kobe, but they're really not having a lot of chances here. 100 Thieves playing it pretty clean.
The way back in for them is a long road. It's very convoluted. You pull out the map, and half the map has been ripped off, and you have to go on one of these Jumanji chases to find all the pieces, put the map back together, and then you still have to, climb over the mountain. You're just like, gee, oh my, I'm just gonna, play defense inside my base. How about that?
It's much easier to go on a quest if I just don't go. I'll just sit here at home and hope for the best. As Smoothie tries to clear away the ward, places the portal down behind him wisely so he can make a quick exit when the rest of 100 Thieves shows up. Ruin just trying to farm up this minion wave here, and Baron's on the table. It's 22 minutes into the game. Total map control here for 100 Thieves. What's the play?
This is what I want to see. We want to see the combo pulled off one time in this game. The coordination this time around. You get another chance. There's still a minute and a half on the Dragon's Soul. That's probably what 100 Thieves are going to wait for. They don't have to take any risks in this game. It's kind of in their hands. So you don't have to risk anything at the Baron. You go to the easy objective, just the 4th dragon that pops up, and you get a big reward if you're able to pull it off. That's the one where we need to see CLG. Right now, you still have a minute. Send somebody down, probably Bard. You know, Smoothie, it's going to be a dangerous mission, but you know, get down there, try and place a ward. Yeah, exactly. Try and place a ward deep so you can try and get some vision, possible flank opportunities for yourselves. Other than that, maybe Wiggily Hex Flash?
Well, he Hex Flash right into Contractz, as now Ryoma's going to enter on top of Poome, and here comes the follow-up. CLG is on the retreat, but Ssumday's jumping in, looking to find the spins and the wins. Pobelter trying to get himself away. Ssumday's going to be spinning here the second time. Pobelter's already down. So is Wiggily. So is Smoothie. Everybody is just wiped off the face of Summoner's Rift here. Ssumday, the sacrificial lamb for 100 Thieves, but a very big team fight for them. And Contractz is heading over to Baron.
Yeah, Baron, easy reward here. Only person left alive is Stixxay, and he has no business running over to try and throw feathers at the Baron for one of those Hail Mary steals. And there's also wards that would see him if he went to go try and steal away the dragon. So even that dragon attempt, you see him going right now. He's getting pinged already. Oh. That could be a one-way trip. They're using teleports to try and support him, though. So Ruin 5 seconds, Pobelter 3 seconds. They could use 2 more teleports and burn it down. They are using them. Invest all the teleports.
They have to stop this Ocean Soul. They know if their opponents get Baron plus Ocean Soul at 24 minutes, the game is just done. So that's a double teleport, one of which came from a Summoner's Spellbook. Investments from CLG to make sure they stop the Ocean Soul. I like it.
All right, they got something. Got something back here. Stalled out at least the soul that you're talking about, but this is 24 minutes into the game with Baron buff. I think 100 Thieves are looking to crack an inhibitor turret at the least. You have to be so wary about the tower dive with Ashe, Galio, and Wukong.
There's the frog again.
That one gets me every time. It's just the tongue wrapping all the way around itself is just a little much.
Pobelter got again. And good aim from Cody Sun has just proved to be the demise of CLG from start to finish here in this game. He's hitting the shots when they count every single time. 4-0-5. He is making it happen as 100 Thieves will push down the mid lane tier 3 turret. Cody Sun continuing to pour the auto attacks into that one. A couple more shots should do it. And it looks like they'll just leave it up to this little cannon minion here. He's the MVP, putting the last couple shots in there as the mid lane inhibitor now finds itself under siege. Damage pouring through onto that one. Nobody from CLG even bothering to contest. 100 Thieves have taken it down. Baron on everybody here as they continue this assault. Cody Sun and Contractz have rotated over towards the bottom lane now, just waiting for Ssumday to shove that minion wave up. Ssumday was able to respawn in time to get that Baron buff, so everybody's wearing purple here for the Thieves. Contractz has been caught out, and he will be shut down. Poome could heavily be in danger here now as well. Nice shockwave on to 2 to take out the support, and CLG have found themselves a very nice fight with a 2-for-0.
Yep, definitely a good counterpunch there by CLG to stop the bleeding. Mid inhibitor is already down, and 100 Thieves already eyeballing number 2. But Smoothie, good pick here. Tempered Fate catches them inside the base, and they lay down the Xayah feathers right there to snare him in place as well, and they get the kill on Contractz, on Poome. Some gold back for themselves, but there's no way you get an objective in the aftermath. It's just trying to patch up all the holes in the sinking ship.
Yeah, taking state of the game after that, because it's easy to get a little bit excited when you see the team that's been losing for a long time come back and get that punch to the gut to their opponents, but we're still looking at a 9,000 gold game. We're still looking at the inhibitor falling sort of as the trade for those 2 kills. A very uphill battle here for CLG, and yes, they stopped the Ocean Soul, but the problem about stopping these souls when you're nowhere close is that it's a lot of risk for very little reward, because what you get is a pretty underwhelming single Drake, but you have to stop it to prevent that soul.
Speaking of which, we just saw, never mind, another
we just saw
arrow
that again.
hit.
And Poome with the flash into the death sentence to follow it up. This bottom lane, they're not on the same page, Kobe. They're on the same line of the damn book. They're reading the sentence together. Word for word, completing each other's sentence. These guys have the chain CC on lock.
The comms here, Cody Sun. I see an angle. Boom. Yes, I got you with the follow-up. Boom, they're in there again. Cody Sun does not miss. Tower's going to go down as well.
Now that tier 3 out of the picture means Ryoma can go right into the back line there looking for Pobelter. A little bit more damage will do it. End of the line, finds the target. Smoke screen down onto Stixxay Xayah as soon as she lands from the ultimate. And Inhibitor 2 has been removed from the base of Counter Logic Gaming. Ssumday hanging out here in the bottom side, continuing to remove the minions. Just waiting for the rest of the boys to come join up and turn this into a 3-inhib game. Ryoma with the stasis, keeping himself protected. Contractz continuing to front line here, but he has overextended, likely will fall. There you go. Ryoma can't save him in time with the ulti. More damage coming through, more slows from Cody Sun, as Ryoma will keep Wiggily locked down there on the other end of the base. There are only 2 players left standing on the side of CLG, and 100 Thieves is going to make sure they take this slow and steady to win the whole damn race. Final inhibitor should fall right about now. Ocean Drake number 4 for 100 Thieves will be spawning here in 30 seconds. Baron will spawn in 90. 100 Thieves with the remaining 4 players don't want to try to overextend into a game ender here. Ryoma already had to go back to base, so they'll just play it nice and easy, setting up shop here for that Drake spawning in 15.
Cody Sun improving his own counter jungle numbers as well. He wants to
These
get
damn marksmen stealing all my stuff, as Wiggly's story this game.
It's not just a jungler stat. Cody Sun's getting in there too as well. He has not died this game, has hit every single arrow. Just the follow-up and the coordination for 100 Thieves this time around gives you so much confidence.
It's so good
in this team in the back half of the split. Like what a surge it has been. This game alone is going to bring them to parity with CLG. They'll tie them in the standings. And I definitely see 100 Thieves as one of the rising stars here in the LCS. Even though last weekend they still showed that there are multiple places where they can and will make mistakes later in the game. They have also had extremely good early games, extremely good dragon fights. So there's definitely a lot of promise that they're looking to build upon.
100 Thieves continuing to steal away everything from CLG's half of the map. You can look at the ward lines. You can see that one bush is very well monitored by the side of CLG. They are very concerned with the contents of that shrubbery, sir. They've got to know what's going on, and they will. Unfortunately, that's about all they're going to know, because 100 Thieves own the rest of Summoner's Rift, and with Contractz and Cody Sun as a duo, they will do more than enough damage to this Baron. Cody with all that damage coming out from Blade of the Ruined King and 2 crit items, as well as Black Cleaver and Death's Dance, that ideal bruiser build there from Contractz' Graves. I think he might have just tried to dash over the wall and missed it, because he's standing in the back of the pit.
Thank you, observers, for moving away. These observers paid by Contractz. He's like, don't show that. Cut the tapes. Cut the tapes. We got the Baron.
Stutter stepped there for a second and then just started walking away. I was like, I know what happened. I've seen this
too many times in my solo queue games.
Oh, it doesn't matter too much. If that's the biggest sin you're committing in the game, is failing to dash over the Baron wall after you collect it for the second time and your team's up 12,000 gold, I think you're going to be doing all right as Contractz disengages there. Wiggily going to be dealing with him in the 1v1 as CLG tries to move forward. 100 Thieves wisely falling back. Contractz dashing in here again. Stixxay getting hit by the arrow, but the cleanse is ready. So 100 Thieves will not be able to profit off of that engage here this time. Wiggily jumps in, finds the haymaker on his last bit of life, but it's not enough to keep him alive. 2 already dead on the side of CLG, probably going to be even more now. They go back into the safety of the fountain, and 100 Thieves have taken control of everything all the way home. Nexus falls 31 minutes in.
Calm little drink from the water glass there for Ryoma. Business as usual for them. 100 Thieves wrap it up quickly. Honestly, stemming a lot from that strong early game play. I have to say, Ryoma himself collapsing onto Wiggily, burning Wigglily's flash, allowing the setup there. Contractz then finds him in the river, and Ryoma's there once again, collapses again immediately, flashes in, allows him to get the first blood kill. This is a guy that is playing more for the team. I'm loving him, especially on Galio, where he can be more supportive to the rest of the big playmakers on the team. Ssumday and Contractz still trying to push the game state forward and pop off, and Ryoma's right there with them.
Yeah. I mean, you're a jungler. You know how good it feels to have Galio as your mid laner. You're never in that situation where you're wishing that your mid laner was shadowing you as you invade. And when you have somebody like Contractz, you said the numbers at the beginning of the game back in Champ Select. Contractz has a higher counter jungling number than Blabber. He wants to be aggressive. He wants to invade. He wants to play a champion like Graves that shines in these situations. And when Ryoma can back him up, when Poome is always there, also like what we saw back at level 3 to stop Wiggily from being able to do anything behind enemy lines, it just looks so good. And it's only complemented when apparently Cody Sun's arrows are point and click.
Yeah, is the targeted ability there for him, hitting him over and over. And that's what you need in a comp like that, where when you hit one, you have so much follow-up. It makes it so much easier for all the rest of the playmakers on the team to land their CC as long as you get the first one to hit. And Cody Sun was there to be the first.
Yeah, 100 Thieves made this game look really good. They made this game look really clean. And I'm pretty happy with just how that played out. Now, obviously, CLG can't be telling the same story. CLG and 100 Thieves now tied in the standings as the Thieves work to claw their way up and secure themselves a good spot here in these last couple of weeks of regular season play. It's time for us to step away, but once we return, we will be breaking down the game with the State Farm analyst.